Good morning, everyone. Hope you are well. Hope this morning is, hope you've started your weekend well. Yes, najua Saturday ndio inakuanga siku ya watu kupumzika, but still we need to learn. Learning is always a continuous process. So today we are going to cover principle 4. That is, become genuinely interested in the other person. And the chapter is called 6 Ways to Make People Like You. And yote tutakuwa how to become genuinely interested in other people. So, Mr. Bruce.
Yes.
Do you think becoming genuinely interested in other people is something that can help you in making friends and influencing people? Let's start at that point.
Yes, as what I tend to think about that, when you use such an approach in a social setting, what you're essentially doing, you're winning people's attention and influence. Like at the end of the day, it is not about impressing them, but about making them feeling heard and valued. When you do that, they become, they can build a rapport, a genuine rapport, a lasting relationship with you, because when they engage with you, they feel heard or valued. Like in essence, others to talk about
Mr. Bruce, unapotea?
Like what I'm saying is, it's one of the ways to make people feel valued, because you make them express themselves genuinely to you, and that will make the two of you to or maybe you and other parties to have a genuine connection.
Okay. Wow. Mimi, in a way, how I think it can greatly affect people. Have you ever been in a situation where this person only came, like this person was trying to push themselves to you, or they were trying to make you like them, but also feel like they were interested in you? Have you ever found yourself in such a scenario?
I can't remember of any. I've never been to a similar situation. I don't know. I can't think of any.
Or have you ever tried it na ukakuja ukapata baadaye this person like what I'm doing, it's not making any impact?
Apparently, I've never tried any such, like I've never tried anything like that before. I haven't.
Okay.
But I've observed people try. Yeah, I've observed some people try, and it's not that effective. To some extent, it has a long-term effect on an association between two people. When you use like when you use that sort of technique, at the end of the day, the person may like you for a short time, or maybe in association with you because of something they are benefiting from. The moment that benefit is no longer there, they just pop out. They just exit out of your life just like that.
Yes, really? Well, you mean people are that cruel, like wakipata kenye wanataka Just because you are not interested in them, watakuacha hivyo.
Yeah, like back in campus, I used to have people I call friends, who, and only like they're only your friends during the when like the lecturers put you together to do maybe some sort of project. Afterwards, they don't they don't care about you. They just uh, like you get back to being strangers. They don't care who you are. What made them like connect with you was that project. They only needed your expertise in that project to get it done, to get their marks for maybe the cuts. Afterwards, they don't even know who you. They're just treating you like some sort of object. They're just there. Like what I can say is, what makes some humans ultimately cruel, is their selfish nature. There's that ability that some people have to only care about themselves, to put themselves as like the first priority, which may not be necessarily a bad thing, but if you overdo it, if you overdo it,
Umepotea, Mr. Bruce. If you overdo it,
it becomes a vice. It's no longer a virtue. Yes.
Okay. That's something. I think we should honestly have genuine interest in people. Hii maneno ya kuhanyahanya na hata you'll get to live a lonely life if mtu atashinda hivyo. Ama what's your take? Won't somebody's life be so lonely if you're not genuinely interested in them? Like you're just there for a short while. How will you know like this person will help me out maybe when everything is not going so well in my life? Cindy Ama, what do you think?
To some extent, there's this thing people usually call, in our generation, we call it a vibe. So the vibe is essentially like the chemistry between the two of you, and if that is off because you are divergent in different ways, like you view the world in different eyes, at the end of the day, you may not get along for a long time. But if you have the same views about different things that are of interesting to both of you, you'll have that chemistry to even have like a long conversation and establish a connection between the two of you. But if the chemistry between the two of you is short term, you may not necessarily end up creating a connection, because you'll have differences in many things, and that might lead to a conflict. The conflict is what will drift you people apart, because you don't agree on different things. You view things differently. You have different mindsets, paradigms of you and the other person about the world, about any subject area is different. So if the difference is too big, chances of you making a genuine human connection reduces. Yes.
Okay. Now, since we've talked of genuine interest in people so that you can have a flowing conversation with them, do you think it's important for one to become genuinely interested in the other person so that uh, they can make friends? Like, in short, let me just rephrase that question. Do you think one can make more friends in 2 months by becoming interested in the other person than you can in 2 years by trying to get the other person interested in you?
Now, I tend to believe that we humans are social beings. As much as we are social beings, we are unique and different in many ways. And if you are trying to make the other person interested in you, it's going to take a lot more effort than if you genuinely just become you and let the qualities in you attract them to you. So the best way to establish maybe like a genuine connection.
Genuine connection, umepotelea hapo. Mr. Bruce?
You interact with them, there's that sort of positivity that comes into your life because they make you feel, they're the kind of people that make you feel valued, the kind of people that make you feel important, they're the kind of people that can help you create value in your own life. And if you interact with such a person, you will like ultimately be drawn to them because they have some sort of value that can benefit the both of you. Yes.
So for you are in support of this statement.
Like in plain terms, what I'm trying to say is it's a lot harder to get people to, like, it's a lot harder to make people to like you. But if you make yourself attractive to a certain level, if you make yourself as a person attractive to a certain level because of maybe your character, people will come into your life because of that. You don't have to do a lot of things. Just be you, polish your character, make your character attractive, and that will draw people into your life.
Okay, you've that's good. That's good. Honestly, after mimi mwenyewe, I think being genuinely interested in other people can really help you get friends. Since one, a good example ni kama as a man you're trying to get the attention of this lady, the best approach actually, it's just you go there and let her communicate, like let her express herself, let her know that you're interested in her and not trying to blabber or show off your capabilities. It goes a long way. And also a very good approach here in maybe when you're trying to get mentors, usiende huko ukionyesha like this is what I've achieved and all this. The best way is just go there, be humble, ask them questions, let them know that you are interested in them, that you are interested in listening, you are interested in learning from them. And most of these people, kwanza watu wenye wanakuwa wamefika the fourth stage, that is 40 years and above, sijui wanakuanga na this thing ama ni Mungu tu yenye aliweka, because they must pass down the knowledge ama the wisdom to the next generation. Ukitrigger tuka question moja wanaweza kuongelesha sijui for how long. Sijui kama my experience such a thing.
Yeah, I have. At some point I was almost like, to get away from this.
Huwa wanaongea. Oh, I'm sorry, nimekuinterrupt. You were saying?
Like it's like they are passing on the maybe knowledge they got from their forefathers to you. They're talking about a lot of things at the same time.
So get just genuinely interested in someone. Sijui kama bado unaongea, naona tumekupoteza.
I'm still here.
Okay. Get to be genuinely interested. Kwanza, if you want to get a mentor, that is the best approach. Enda tu me, hi, I was I'm interested. Like, don't try to show off your abilities, because kwao you're just in the beginning of maybe your life, your journey, or your career. So be humble, go and focus on them. Let the conversation be focused on them. Utapata a lot. Now go there with questions and lots of questions. So in our next discussion, I want us to discuss if we merely try to impress people and get people interested in us, we will never have many true, sincere friends. Real friends are not made that way. So, okay, venye ulikuwa umesema, getting to know the other person's interest, itasaidia, especially when it comes to conversations. You'll have like long, meaningful conversations, since you'll get to know that you're interested in the same things. Um, do you think truly kama ku focus on us inaweza lead to people not getting friends? Ama that's just an assumption?
It's not an assumption per se, because at the end of the day, if you put focus on you, it comes out self-centered, it comes out selfish, and no one likes selfish. So if you if you find ways to make a conversation open, like not focused on you, but rather focused on the other person's interest or opinions. At the end of the day, it will allow the conversation to be steered towards them. And if it's steered towards them, remember that we humans have the innate urge of wanting to feel important. So if you steer the conversation towards them, they'll feel important and they'll feel the urge to now make the conversation going. They feel the urge to talk about themselves. Sometimes when you want to get information from someone else, what you usually do, you share something like something that is sort of emotional and deep about yourself to make them do the same thing. So the moment you trigger that emotion, or making it like the other person has been made to feel important because of the open-ended kind of question you've asked, they'll start talking about themselves in ways that are genuine, because you've made them to feel important. Yes.
Wow. So, okay, uko hapo like the kind of things that you can do to make this person feel that you're interested with them, apart from just being open and creating that rapport. What else do you think somebody can do to let them know that you are there for them and you are interested in them? What things do you think a person can do ndo wa make the other person like kidogo wa feel at peace? Kumbuka ndo umejileta ya kujui seme maybe mlipatana in a networking event. What do you think you can do ndo uweze kupull this person closer?
Okay. At first, you need to understand that effective communication is less about speaking and more about listening. So what you have to do, you have to know the difference between being an active listener and a good listener. Most people are good listeners, but we have very few active listeners. So what do active listeners usually do? An active listener will genuinely demonstrate that they care and acknowledge your feelings and perspective. So if you can find ways to acknowledge their perspectives and feelings in a conversation, that will spark an interest in them to have this conversation with you because it's centered on them and both of you are going to benefit. But if you make it centered towards you, you become the good listener. You're just there to listen, but not genuine about their interests and perspectives about anything. So for you to engage in a meaningful conversation with anyone, avoid making it self-centered towards you. Resist the urge to steer the discussion back to yourself. Instead, just allow it to remain centered on the other person's stories, not you. It's not about you, it's about them. Yeah.
Wow. Make it about them, not you. So, tukiwa tu hapo. So, how will you like, okay, maybe this person, umeona, maybe, yes, mlipatana in a networking event, no, na this person can be of help to my company, to my career, and all this time ume focus on them. When is the right time? Let me just ask this. When do you think is the right time now for you now to bring forward your agendas? So ukishinanga ukiulizanga maswali nini, when will you actually get to that? Yes.
Now, this is where you can apply the principle of reciprocity. Like what you do, the moment they get comfortable with you, you can slowly and gently start steering the direction of the conversation towards you once in a while. Like you do that in a witty way. Remember, the conversation is to make them feel like it's about steering the conversation about them. So let them talk about themselves, but at the end of the day, introduce your concepts to them that are related to their personal stories. If there is an interest that both of you share, let them talk about that for themselves, then invite yourself to talk about.
Invite them to talk about? Mr. Bruce? Umepotea kidogo. Okay. So invite them.
When to chip in, when to steer back the wheels to you. Do that, but not really. Don't give them the idea that I'm taking this conversation back to me. Just focus on them. Yeah.
So how do you do that? No, that's the question. How do you do that?
Now, let's say we are talking about maybe philosophy or maybe psychology. When they a point of view about maybe therapy that you genuinely into it, maybe they are talking about a concept that you're really familiar with. After they're done talking about it, and you've listened to them, you've listened to their perspective, and you really want to connect because of the discussion you're having about a certain subject. The moment they are done speaking about that concept, you can ask them to let you share your own perspective about the same subject. You don't have to force anything. After they are done, you can ask them to let you speak your mind. Just be you, just be genuine about your own perspective. Like what you do you let them talk about, you let it be self-centered on them, but once in a while, ask them to let you speak your own mind. And that usually happens if you ask open-ended question. If you ask an open-ended question like, what's your ideology, or maybe politics, what do you think about politics? Such a question to open them to a whole ideology of the same thing. They can share a lot of things about the same subject, because the question is sort of open, and in the middle of that conversation you can get an opportunity to chip in and share your own ideologies. But if you ask a close-ended question, if you ask something like, how have you been, the answer might be good or bad. Like, they just give you simple answers. Try to ask questions that will open them to different answers. They don't have to give you one specific answer, but they give you an answer in form of a discussion. When you do that, you let yourself have the opportunity to chip the discussion when necessary. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, focus on them. That's that's what kwanza get from you. So for me, what I will say about that is get
Hello?
yes. Uniski? I'm saying get to do things for the other person, things like that require time, energy, unselfishness, and thoughtfulness. Be good. Maybe, for example, while you are discussing, ukasikia maybe mtoto wake ni mgonjwa, find time na mpelekee kitu fulani, like be of help. This story yenye ilikuwa stated kwa the book, actually in that chapter, of this guy alikuwa anajaribu kupata a way ya kuongelesha a senior executive in a certain corporation, and hakuwa successful. Na time aliweza kubook for an appointment, this guy was so rude na hakutaka kumsikiza, but kitu yenye aligrasp from that conversation is that one, alikuwa na there was a secretary mwenye aliingia, alikuwa like anamuuliza some things about the son, na kuwa kulikuwa na kitu yenye now the executive alikuwa anataka kupea the son as a birthday gift, but hakuweza kupata. And so this guy mwenye alikuwa amekuja, he was actually a salesperson. So now the salesperson aliweza kupata like this thing, like it was a leeway. Time alikuja the next time, hata before afike, alitumana like that gift iende the son, na like alituma kwa ofisi like the secretary aweze kupea the executive, and it was hard to find. Funny enough, now the executive alifeel like so honored since alikuwa kabisa anang'ang'ana kupea huyu mtoto kitu na hakuwa ameweza kuipata that specific gift. Time alimuinvite tena, wali have a very good conversation, and funny enough wali end up ku close a deal. So like what do you think? Sometimes tunaweza take advantage of these things like an art of kindness, na tunasema kama unataka kuguza roho ya mzazi, guza mtoto wake. So the same thing, ukitaka kuguza roho ya mzazi maybe in a good way, maybe just offer that child something good, or make the kid like you. It can go a long way. What do you think?
And
it can go a long way, like inaweza kusaidia inaweza huko nadhani itakusaidia. So what do you think? What's your opinion on that?
Have you ever asked yourself why you like one of your parents parent more than the other one?
Really? No, I've never asked myself that question.
Yeah. Now the thing is, with parents, when one parent is an active listener, who sometimes maybe when you share stories to them, sometimes they share the same story to you with the details, the specific details that you shared as a child, which means they actively listened to you. They were present in that moment when you were telling your story as a child. When they do that, what usually happens, it strengthens the bond between you and them.
It strengthens the bond between you and them. Umepotea?
Having any. Hello?
Umelipotea when you strengthen the bond between it strengthens the bond between you and them. Tuendelee from there.
Yeah. So when it strengthens, like when the bond between you and that parent is strengthened, he or she will always be the parent will be going to have those hard conversations, because you have trust in them, you feel secure with them, because they usually make you feel listened to and important. The reason why you are drawn to them is because they've already established that bond. You've already established that bond with them because they made you believe that they genuinely care about you by actively listening to you as a person. So you have a real connection between the two of you because of that, because of the nature of your interactions, that you and your parent interact in ways that are more sincere in terms of having open conversations compared to other members of the family. So, to me, what I can say, it all boils down to the other part actively listens to me, as the other part make me feel valued. Do I have an open conversation with the other party? If the answer is no, then you don't have a connection. If the answer is yes, you may have a chemistry. That's what I think about this.
Okay, you've introduced something very, very important. Parents and child relationship. Do you think now the parents, since most of the time wanatakanga tuwasikize wakisema, kwanza there's this nini ya zamani yenye mtoto wako anafaa kuonekana mahali penye watu wakubwa wako. So in short too, the child was meant to keep quiet mpaka afike akue mkubwa ndio aweze kuongea. Do you think that has really contributed to maybe the high increase in depression? Because the person ama the people mtu alikuwa nafaa kurun to hawezi wasikiza. They just want them to be listened to, but they don't have time for you, like for you to speak out your mind. And at the same time, funny enough, this is actually true, that the people who will judge you greatly and make you extremely uncomfortable is your family members. Like they're the people you cannot run to. I don't know, maybe nimekuja that nini with so many people that mimi afadhali nikufe na kitu yangu, but I cannot go and console my parents. Sijui ni kwa sababu they'll want you to listen to them. Ukijaribu kusema hii wanajaribu kukupea advice, ukijaribu, but they don't have that time to listen. You get me? Bruce? Hello? Bruce,
Yes.
umesikia swali?
No, I think you muted for some few seconds. Didn't get the last part.
Okay, I'm saying, do you think by the fact these parents, they are trying so much to advise you, and they don't actively listen to you, it's one of the causes of the rise of the number of people who are in depression, and the fact that sometimes mtoto anaweza potea since haezi enda kwa mzazi amsikize, na pia tuseme kama anataka kuchagua a certain career, mzazi ako ameshikilia mahali, hajapea this child space mahali ajiexpress mbona anataka kufanya that thing. Do you think it can be one of the causes mbona kumekuwa na that high rise in depression na watu kujifungia?
To some extent, yes, because what you first need to understand is you grow sometimes maybe apart from your parents because you don't view the world the same. You grew up in different surrounding. You got to learn different things. You have a different set of abilities. Like at the end of the day, you have to understand that your parent may not necessarily be your friend. So first, they are humans, which means they may have that selfish need in them that they need to project to you. Let's say your parent always wanted to be a lawyer, right? Or a doctor. Then after you're done with your high school, they may try to steer you towards that direction because they want that legacy in the family. They want people around the village to be saying that in this family, he has a daughter who is a lawyer, he has a son who is a neurosurgeon. Like he wants that legacy. There's that selfish need of, I want the village or people where I live to make me like see my family as an important family because they're educated. So sometimes you find that what makes parents not listen to their young ones is because of their own selfish need. Maybe they are after legacy, they are after reputation, and the only way to make their reputation better is by steering their kids to do what will make them feel that way. So you find that at the end of the day, it becomes about them. It becomes about, I'm your dad. I know what is right. I've been here for the longest, so I know what is right for you or not. They don't actively want to listen to you because if they do that, they'll not satisfy their selfish need of having, let's say, the loyalty in the family. But the legacy in the family. So sometimes it boils down to their own selfish need that they want to project into you. They want to use you as a subject of their own legacy. That can be one of the reasons why we find it hard, or some people find it hard to confide in their parents, because sometimes when
Umepotea sometimes when
you find a parent whom you've established a strong bond and sort of special kind of like relationship, a parent who is your friend, you can have any kind of conversation with them, from career to relationship and everything in between, because you are open to them and they are open to you. But sometimes because of taboos and the ways of lives in different communities, that can be hard. Like as a kid, as a child in an African setting, you're usually treated as you are a project. Your parent can do whatever they pleases with you. That's why you find during the pre-colonial period, parents used to see the girl child in some communities as wealth. You are sure if I have like 4 daughters and they get married, That's like a bunch of, I'm going to have a lot of livestock from them. So they used to see them as a project. Like the more daughters I have, the more wealthy I'll become, because eventually they'll get married and I'll have more cattle. So sometimes it goes down to the selfish nature of humanity.
Ooh, okay. Bruce, umepotea? Oh, umemaliza. Okay. Okay, there's something you've said, and it's a concern that your parents might not necessarily be your friend. Is that really how it's meant to be? Like, the only person, like one sure person, like mwenye Mungu amekupea aweze kukuguide through life is your parent. And when your parent is not your friend, how aje utasaidika? Na I've really realized this. Like utapata mtoto
Now,
like yes, like utapata a child like hajui maybe akifika in a stage where she or he wants to get married, hajui nani atatafuta. Na most of us tend to end up maybe in the wrong hands. Now if you find the right people, ndio sasa the so-called spiritual fathers and mothers. Na yet instead of hata ku have the spiritual fathers and mothers, your parent is actually there. Like in short, wameshindwa kufanya their duties and you had to look for a way, like to look for a person to fill up that gap. So, do you think is right? Like, should I really have go and look for another parent just because my parent amekataa kuwa friendly? Yet this is the person mwenye Mungu amemweka to guide me. Like, okay, unaweza pata maybe somebody's father is a lawyer. Now this child wants to get into the corporate world, anatafuta job. Hajui the kind of laws zenye zitamguide, hajui where to look for those opportunities. Na yet the parent ako setia hayuko, but haezi mconsult kwa sababu anajua akienda kumconsult the parent atajaribu ku push the agenda na hataweza ku live their life. Do you think this is actually right?
For some reason, I usually
For some reason, umepotea? Mr. Bruce?
the nature of friendship between. Hello?
Abu, rudia please, ulikuwa umepotea from the top, like umepotea.
As I said earlier, friendship is something that is cultivated. It's something that you nurture. If while growing up you never had that those moments to nurture your friendship with your parent, it becomes hard for you to have any sort of open conversation, because for you to have an open conversation, you need to have good chemistry and genuine human connection for you to be open to have any sort of conversation with any other human being. If that is absent between you and your parent, you'll never have any open sort of conversation about anything, because you'll never feel valued by your parent. You'll never feel heard, because at the end of the day, the conversation is too closed. Like you'll only be discussing things that are within the normal family discussion. Their conversations will always be about go to school, pay your school fees, this is what you want. It will never be about this vision of building things, and because you have expertise in this area, I really need your guidance. You cannot have such a conversation with them because the connection between the two of you is absent. You have connection, yes, but it's sort of surface connection. You don't have the deep kind of connection between the two of you. So at the end of the day, it's going to be really hard for you to be open to each other because you don't really trust each other in that context.
Okay. You don't really trust each other in that context. Hard truth. That you can actually be living with your parents for 18 years. You're their child, like if you don't trust them and they don't trust you. Why?
Yeah, they don't fully trust you. They just like this my daughter, my son, she's a ticking time bomb. This one, out of let's say my supervision, this can do something stupid. I don't trust them. That's why you find it that before our time, the child used to belong to the community, so they used to be open to find people like mentors, like mentors. Like example, what used to happen, if you don't find your parent good confident, you can approach your uncle, you can approach your grandmother, you can approach anyone in society that you see that seems to be fit for your purpose. But nowadays, that changed.
Mm-hmm.
Nowadays, sort of, you're not sure if they are genuine or not. It's just like, okay, what?
Umepotea like what? Mr. Bruce?
Back home,
Mm-hmm.
when you go home for holidays, they'll always be treating you special because you made them achieve their legacy. But assume you decided to go a different direction, to some extent they will develop some sort of resentment towards you because you didn't make them realize their goal of achieving some sort of legacy.
Okay. I think that the people who are supposed to kusoma hii chapter sana ni parents, African parents. Get to be genuinely interested in your child. They need you. Whether it's true, utapata hata kumread. I've seen this. Utapata mtoto amejinyamazia, ameteseka in campus, hana food yet mzazi akikuja tuseme kama kuna hii time yenye wazazi wanakujanga kutembea ama maybe akigraduate, mkienda graduation, ukienda the kind of cars and nini, ukiangalia like mzazi na uangalie mtoto, nashanga mbona ulikuwa unateseka msee, why? Umejipata such a scenario like this guy alikuwa anateseka, lakini the parents themselves, they are well off. What does that mean? They were not like open and like they did not let nitasemaje, they were not vulnerable to their parents, unaget? And it's so sad, like somebody like a child, your child can be suffering out there, yet you're alive, yet you umepasa ama anything, you are there. But the reason mbona mtoto hajaweza open up, it's because of your selfish motives. I'll say that na acha nirudie tena. It's because of you parent who you have selfish motives. This child also has dreams. This child wants to explore life. Venye pia wewe mwenyewe uko na ego yake pia yako nayo. Si ndio? But I think CBC na way inajaribu kurectify that in such a way wanna make sure kuwa the parents is doing homework.
You're lost for a moment.
Okay, I'm saying CBC kwangu ninaona inajaribu kurectify that in such a way that you must sit down with your parent and do the homework together. So by the end of that period, mkifanyanga homework naye kutoka paper 1 mpaka grade 8, kuna that kabonde yenye mta create. Na kwanza tuseme kama nikisaidia my brother kufanya homework, alikuwa ananiambia hapana, teacher wetu alisema hatufai kufanya hivyo. Unaona, like the child gets to have a voice. Unaona, like hapana, unafaa kunisikiza. Unaona such kind of a thing. So pole with that inaweza kudevelop and you get to trust them na wana feel kwa they're being listened to. I don't know, what's your view? Kwangu mimi naona CBC na wewe inajaribu kurectify this. What of unaona aje?
There's a reason why some people, especially if you went to the same.
You went to the same?
You had a lot of trust in them. You could share anything with them, but you cannot do that to your parents because that teacher or that madam.
That teacher, that madam, mmepotea?
My parents fought yesterday.
Rudia tu from that teacher, that madam. Ulikuwa umepotea hapo.
There's a reason why unapata like if you went to the same primary school, you always had those teachers that you had established trust and a good relationship with, because they used to hear you, they used to actively listen to your problems and offer solutions to, like at the end of the day, they drew you towards them because they always made you feel in a way important. Ukikompuna maybe ukifika nyumbani, your parent, if you don't do the right thing, instead ya kukuonyesha kufanya the right thing, atakuchapa kwanza. Akisha kuchapa nje atakuonyesha. But ukirudi shule upate this kind of teacher, if you do the wrong thing, he'll show you the right thing. And if you don't get it for the first time, he'll show you a second time. Usipogeta a second time, maybe it's their discipline. At the end of the day, you'll be more open to share your problems to huyu mwalimu compared to sharing to your dad or your mom when you're very sure, if I do this thing wrong, leo nile siku nitachapwa. So you find at the end of the day, inakuwa easier for you to interact with mwalimu because you always go where you feel wanted, where you feel important. You cannot always go to a place where you feel resented because of a simple mistake. So it usually goes around like trust. Do you trust them enough to share something deep about yourself? If you don't, find someone whom you can share a deep conversation with, because you've already established a connection and build trust and rapport that can facilitate a deep conversation between the two of you. And talking about today's curriculum, the CBC curriculum is essentially making the students become open-minded. It's centered on students. They are allowed to express their ideas, their innovations in class projects, compared to the other system ya 844. We used to do things by the book. If kitabu imesema mfanye hivi, that's what you will do. But with CBC, you are allowed to unleash creativity in different ways. So to some extent, it makes you develop self-confidence in you, because it makes you believe in yourself in the sense that you don't have to do things by how they say it. You can do it by your own, however you want it, provided you have that could be the difference.
That can be the difference, Mpota? Mr. Bruce? Okay. Mr. Bruce? Kama kidogo network imenini, it's okay. So, parents, kama wewe ni mzazi na unasikia hii, please get to have a relationship with your kid. Get to have a relationship with the kid because the world out here it's so cruel. Na tunasemanga there's this methali ilikuwa inasema asiyefunzwa na mamaye hufunzwa na ulimwengu. Don't allow your kid afunzwe na the world. It will be so hard. Be that shoulder to lean on. Sababu utapata naona kama there's this thing yenye nimeona mtu get married na since anajua if I go and tell my mom ama my dad kuwa maybe this husband is mistreating me ama something, watashinda wakipush stay in that marriage sijui nini just because hawataki kuwa na this this name ati hii ndio familia mtoto wao ameachana na bwana. Like really this is your kid hata before that man ama before that woman ever existed in your life, this child came first. Like sasa umetoa from being your child to now being like generalize to marriage. Like ni pia yenye pia nimeona pia kwa academics. Thank God I had like an understanding parents. Kwanza my dad. Why dad kama unasikia big up. Because utapata a parent anapush mtoto so much into doing something that they don't love. Na nimenotice these people get so frustrated na hata watu wengine who they end up kujinyonga and they commit suicide ama wakifika campus since wanajaribu like kurelieve themselves they get into drugs and all this. So unadhani unatengeneza mtoto wako maisha like lakini unamharibia. For me, I thank God for my parents because my dad used to tell me one thing, like do your best and leave the rest. Like do what you can, that maximum limit for you, na wache kujicompare with the others. Then the rest I'll help you. Say ati I'll force you to do something, but I will help you. I think hiyo ndio kitu yenye tunafaa kuelewa. Kwa you as the parent, you are not naitwa nini? Wewe si, you're not God, that one, and you're just placed there to guide. Not hata a shepherd anakanga nyuma ya mbuzi then they direct you, si ndio? Hey, so create that connection with your kid, man. It's very important. Na I think it's a lesson for us. Pia sisi najua pia tuko karibu kufikia hiyo stage. Tusiache such a thing happen. Si ndio?
Hello?
Nasema let's not allow the same thing to happen to our kids. Na pia kwangu ninaona kama kungekuwa na that genuine connection na trust, kuna way pia hata mambo ya government na all these ingeweza kuwa passed down easily kama wangeweza kututrust na pia they get to share their views. What do you think?
Yeah, there's a reason, because nowadays it's kind of hard for parents and kids to have genuine connections. Let's say your parents works 8 to 5 job, anaamka mapema na kuacha hapo. The only place you get really human connections maybe shuleni, or kama ni young kid unampeleka naitwa gaji hizi vitu
daycare.
That child time ako nayo ya kuinteract na wewe ni jioni, time umechoka, time maybe you're not even interested, you cannot be genuinely present to listen to their like to how their day was and stuff. So inakuwa like ngumu, inakuwa hard, it makes parenting something else. So unakuwa decorated as this sophisticated selfish prick. Your parent, your daughter or your son hatawahi kuwa confident to share anything with you because they fear if they do that mtakosana, because they don't really know you as a person. Wanakuonaga tu kama mzazi, but they don't really know you as a person because well, hamjaikuwa na time ya really on anything because they were always busy working and stuff.
Okay. You talking? I mean, ndio sikusikii.
Yeah, I think I'm done.
Yeah, so that's a concern, and please parents check on that. Najua mimi unasema sasa kaka kasichana kanasema nini. Yes, I'm speaking on behalf of every child. And I'm sure you were once a kid and you didn't get this. You might be a parent and but you are not a friend to your child. So sad. So yes, check on that. So the next point I will want us to discuss is this statement: showing a genuine interest in others not only wins friends for you, but may develop in its customers a loyalty to your company. Let me repeat that. Showing a genuine interest in others not only wins friends for you, but may develop in its customers a loyalty to your company. So the point of discussion is how important is genuinely being interested in people contribute to maybe sales and keeping of not just sales ikwangi to getting customers. I think watu wanasahau hiyo, it's getting and retaining this customer. So how do you think as a company somebody should keep this principle and also practice it even to their customers? Nonanga sometimes unaweza kuwa like you're a loyal customer to a certain company ama a certain brand.
Hello?
Yes, unanisikia? Like you are a loyal customer to a certain brand, but these people don't know they don't know how to practice this principle. So how do you think the companies ama these brands should actually practice this principle?
Now, how does a customer develop loyalty towards a specific brand? You find that the reason why those customers developed loyalty towards a certain brand is because that specific brand made them like feel some void in their life. That brand is making their life maybe easier, convenient, but at the same time, in a sincere way. The only way for
Umepotea? Mr. Bruce, umepotea? The only way for
sometimes for an organization to develop customer loyalty, what they usually do, they genuinely demonstrate that they care about the needs of their customers. And how do they do that? Companies do marketing differently. Sometimes we do have sort of marketing campaigns that explain product features to customers. And when you go to that extent of trying to explain how your product is going to satisfy your customer will eventually feel valued in terms of this company or this organization has made this product that is going to satisfy my needs truthfully. They are not hiding how this product is going to satisfy my needs. Apart from that, what an organization can also do, they can try to explain to the customer, maybe to make them trust their brand about what this product, like how this product is going to satisfy their need and why. Like, why should they buy this product? If they express that to their customers, over time, their customers will develop loyalty and trust to their brand as an organization. I think that can be one of the ways to develop trust and cultivate that culture of honesty between your customers and your brand. Make them trust you because they genuinely feel like you care about their needs. You care about their needs, yes.
That's wow. And I would like
Hello?
to second you and also add up some of these points. One, most companies kama venye tu nini, si most companies ni something yenye nimeona it helps a lot. Go back to what we were discussing, most people want to be listened to. Most people want them to bring out their opinions and all this. So kuna this thing nimeona a few companies wanafanya, na funny enough the few companies zenye wanafanya ndio maana wako juu, ni get to ask your customer, like get to ask them their experience while you're serving them, ama your product, like experience yako nazo ni nini. This kidogo itafanya wa open up, sinaona watajua this person ako dedicated to satisfy my needs. That's one. Plus, they are interested to know what I think about them. So, like, kama ku critique and all that, that's very, very important. And in a way, hiyo kitu ina bring close. Naona kama venye tuko tunasema ukiwa na mentor, go and ask them questions. The same thing kwa customer. Ask them questions. Let them have that opportunity to express themselves. Trust me, it goes a long way. It goes a long way. Vibaya sana. There's a reason mbona kuna kwanga na the comment section, na most of the people wenye huwa wana engage like their audience, hata ukiangalia their nini, like the number of their followers and all that, inakwanga juu. Si kwa sababu ya kitu ingine, most people just want to be heard. Ndio maana utapata mtu mwenye ameketi chini like anaingilia maisha ya watu sana na kutext a lot of things via this social media. Na yes, it's a waste of time, but it's an expression of being deprived the space to be heard. Like they want to be heard, they want to express themselves, and I think that's the best approach, honestly. So kama for example, when you kuna this thing that we discussed yesterday, how can you make a customer buy and not necessarily sell to them, because people hate being sold something but they love buying. Okay, so the best approach is get to hear their views and umuulize like have you ever had this kind of problem? Yes. Listen to them. So how would you think this thing can be of help to you? Wacha waongee, then mwambie now we have this that can trust me. Jaribu your tactic. For me, I have tried. I've ever been a marketer and it have worked. So so sijui, what's your view? Do you think mtu akienda ku market ama akienda ku sell something, should they focus on the product, or should they actually, as much as possible, engage the customer, ask them questions, ask them their interests, get to know their interests, get to know what they believe and all that? What's your view, Mr. Bruce?
Let's focus on the people. There's a reason why is the top telecommunication company in the country, because they have a feedback system. Their feedback system usually makes you feel they are ready to hear you. So when you compliment, improve the some of their service. And at the end of the day, if you compare consuming products from Safaricom has an excellent system. Other companies want me to buy products from Safaricom and use their services, because when you complain to them about a specific issue, they sort you out. For example, sometimes maybe you send money to you call their customer service, they actively help you out to recover your money. So if they do that to you maybe twice or thrice, you used to use maybe you used to use Airtel, genuinely don't be used maybe pet, because you are sure if my need, if there's any time I need my get a phone, there's someone who is always there to guide me through it. Like they just take care about me. Just about what I'm concerned.
Kidogo Mr. Bruce, rudia. Oh, ni kama amepoteza network. So, what we are talking about is how genuine interest to the customer can help you in sales, and how actually can help you in your sales, and how it can help in scaling a business. Yes, because business generally it's about profits and sales. The main focus of a business is the customer, nobody else. Yes, the product is okay, but the customer is the king. So yes, and we are actually winding up. Yes, we were actually winding up, and this has been an amazing discussion. And I'd like to finish up with this statement. I'll give out this statement, then I'll finish up with a quote, and it states: "If you want others to like you, if you want to develop real friendship, if you want to help others at the same time as you help yourself, keep this principle in mind." Mr. Bruce, karibu sana. So actually we were winding up. Now I was just stating a statement before tumaliza, lakini please maliza kenye ulikuwa unasema before nifunge.
All of them to put body. Reason brands you'd rather use them than going to us to get your funds, because M-Pesa or Safaricom, if let's say you need their attention at any time, they already have an excellent feedback system. They have a customer care unit that is ready to hear your complaint and help you solve it. So at the end of the day, they make you feel a valued customer, and that makes you feel drawn to them, because they make you feel valued. That's all. That was all I was about to put forward for my connection.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Bruce, and thank you for your time. We really honor you, a man of wisdom. So I like to finish up this conversation with a statement. I'll give out this statement, then I'll state the statement, then I'll also state a quote. I'll finish up with a quote, and it says: "If you want others to like you, if you want to develop real friendship, if you want to help others at the same time, help yourself, keep this principle in mind." It will help you a lot. Make sure the other party gets that attention, give them a listening ear, be a good listener, let them feel valued. I think the entire book, what we will be discussing is let the other party or your friend feel valued. And okay, I'll finish up with this quote, and it says, it's the one who said this quote is Alfred Adler, and he says it's the individual who is not interested in his fellow men who has the greatest difficulties in life and provides the greatest injury to others. It is from among such individuals that all human failures spring. Let me repeat that. It's the individual who is not interested in his fellow men who has the greatest difficulties in life and provides the greatest injury to others. It's from among such individuals that all human failures spring. So focus on the other person. Don't be selfish. Make sure that you don't cause injury to the other person. Mr. Bruce, do you have a parting shot?
What I can say, my parting shot could be like you really need them to polish your character and attractive element in life. Element that attracts.
Please rudia, tunakukosa kidogo.
My parting shot is, if they don't like you and you really want them to like you for some reason, polish your character, make your character magnetic so that you can meet your life because otherwise,
We kidogo hapo tumekukosa, ninge suggest to urudie. Please rudia. Najua for the sake of the listeners, kama mimi sikusikii, sidhani wataweza kukusikia. Na ametoroka. Either way, that was our discussion for today, for this morning. Hope you've learned. And by chance you have questions, just uliza tu hapo kwa comment section. We'll get to reply. So yes, make sure that you are genuinely interested in the other person.
Oh, sorry, had an issue with disconnection. What I was trying to say, you don't have to force the issue they'll all be done personality. Just polish your character and be a good human being.
Polish your character and be a human being. Yes. So thank you, Mr. Bruce. We really honor your presence. And thank you, our listeners. Hope you've learned and be good to other people. Yes. Bado tutarudia venye tulianza from chapter 1. Don't do to others what you don't want to be done to you. So yeah, thank you. Have a blessed day. Let's meet in the evening. Good day.